Hi, I'm Darren, an engineer for Jira. As I hope you're aware, we're making some changes to how workflows are managed in company managed spaces. We're sunsetting the old workflow editor and encouraging everyone to move over to using the new workflow editor. You might have seen this banner in the old workflow editor. You might also be interested in this community post, which gives some of the reasoning for making the change. In the current state, you can edit your workflows interchangeably between the new and the old workflow editor and make the same set of changes. But from June 2026, we're going to start removing the old workflow editor, so we're encouraging everyone to make the change now. In this video, I'm going to go through some of the key differences between the old and the new editor to give you some confidence in making that change. So let's go ahead and open the new workflow editor. Much of this will look very familiar to you. So up in the corner here, we can see the spaces and the work item types that this workflow applies to. We can add statuses, existing statuses, or create new statuses. We can add transitions. As you see, the workflow diagram will allow you to select and edit statuses, select and edit transitions, and move around the entities within the diagram. So it's very similar to the old diagram. We have a help menu here, which gives some of the directions to kind of some of the changes we can make in the diagram. We also have a text view, which allows you to select your statuses and transitions in a list view to make edits to those. So all of that will be fairly familiar. I'm going to go through, I'll show you quickly the link here we have to some documentation, which is the key differences between the old and the new editor. So these are the things I'm going to go through today. And there's really three things here. There's changes to the publishing model, shared transitions, and rules. So they're the three things we're going to look at. So let's talk first about changes to the publishing model. So in the old editor, we had a concept of drafts where you built up changes across multiple pages and then you published them at the end. In the new editor, we're not carrying over the concept of drafts. We make all of our changes within the same window. So we can build up our set of changes, make any edits to our statuses and transitions, and then with this update button, we apply those changes directly to the active workflow, or we can discard our changes. One thing to mention here is we aren't tied to the same limitations we had with drafts. So these were deleting statuses in active workflows and adding new outgoing transitions. So we can do that within the same active workflow without creating an inactive copy or any of that. The one limitation that still remains is editing the name of an active workflow. Once we remove the old workflow editor, we're going to be able to remove that limitation as well. So a couple of other little related features here. As we're building up our changes, we can undo them. So this just uses the standard shortcut, Control or Command Z. We can also restore our workflow to a previous version. So we can take that back to this version from 2 days ago, and that will apply those changes, and I can update the work to restore it to that state. We can also, as we're making our changes, decide that we want to save as a new workflow, so that'll take that set of changes and save it as a new inactive workflow that we can apply via our workflow scheme. So I'll go back to the old editor. And I'm going to make an edit here. I'll add a new transition and add that there. And I'm not going to publish this draft. So I'll get back to the new editor. I'll just open that in a new tab. So when we open the new editor, the first thing you'll see is a warning that we've got a draft in the old editor. You'll see that the changes of the draft aren't shown because we're always editing the active workflow in the new editor. So we've got this option to view the draft in the old editor, and this will allow us to resolve the draft before making changes in the new editor. So I can publish it here or discard, publish those changes. If I reload the new editor, you'll see that I've got those changes applied. If I didn't want those changes, I could just continue on in the new editor, because when I make my next update, that draft will be removed. Yes, that's how we resolve existing drafts. Now let's look at the concept of shared transitions. So previously this is what was called reusing a transition. So if I edit my workflow here in the old editor, and if I delete this transition, if I wanted to have the transition from in progress to done be the same transition as this finished transition, I would reuse a transition, in progress to done, and reuse finish. So that was how you would get to that state in the old editor. In the new editor, we can do this by just editing the finished transition. We could say that we would always also like this to apply from in progress to done. So this is how we would share the transition in the new editor. We can also create shared transitions directly when we're creating them. So I can select multiple from statuses and a to status there. Rules really replace the concepts of conditions, screens, validators, and post functions in the old editor. But the 4 different types of rules really map one-to-one with those concepts. So if you had those things configured in the old editor, you will find them in this rules section. So in this restrict transition section, we'll find our conditions. In this request input section, we'll find our screen configurations. Validate, we'll find our validators. And perform actions, we'll find our post functions. We still support grouping of conditions, or you're dragging and dropping them, or using the move up, move down options in this menu. You might notice that if you go to add a new rule, this set of rules look a bit different. We've combined some of the rules together, we've given some of them different names, but the same set of functionality exists within this set of rules. If you have a look at this document here, it will show you how these rules map to what was in the old editor. And that's really it for the key differences between the editors. I should mention that if after watching this video and trying out the new editor, you still think you're blocked from adopting it, then please raise a support ticket with us and then we can help you and support you with that. That's it. Thank you for your time.